The masterclass on application of generative AI for making government future ready by T. Koshy has been interesting and informative. Now we have a question and answer round. Our first question is: would it be right to say that agri-goods produced remotely could now be efficiently sold to the seller in the city, at farmers' concept? Or do you look at this mostly as a game for urbans to grown in urban?
No, absolutely. As I said, a very, very correct point of view. And it is, like I said, small and micro enterprise. Say, for example, the Kanchipuram weavers coming from the Kanchipuram, that segment. In fact, one of the very interesting things I will even highlight to you that while the Kanchipuram weavers suddenly got a visibility and they could sell across the country, which is really, really good. What we also found that the participation in digital commerce in that region also, that town, increased significantly. The city has become one of the top 10 or 15 cities with respect to daily transaction in the ONDC network. Because they would have all told, not that everybody is buying Kanchipuram saris. They were now buying other goods from different segments. We have about 2,000 all FPOs are already onboarded, out of which about 200-300 have started transacting. We have like peanut manufacturers, millet manufacturers, honey manufacturers, now being able to access their clients in the city, and with the logistics provider seamlessly taking it from there and delivering. And this also is triggering a lot of new investment and innovation and participation, even the logistics, because they realize now there could be sellers coming from every part of the country and there could be buyers every part of countries. So even the new logistics providers are coming in and existing logistics providers are enhancing their presence, and even warehouse as a service. So eventually this is how it will all nicely stitch together.
We read about the initial success in food delivery. Customer costs are much lower, time taken to deliver could be better, and reliability could be better. How is this progressing?
Progressing is okay. See, one of the standard questions that come, I will make it a question a little more blunt. It says that a lot of people, all of us are familiar with digital commerce and a complete integrated end-to-end service. And we believe that's the only way in e-commerce can be done, or the business can be done. So I will, while I will not go into extensive discussion on this, I'll just make a couple of observations. Can you tell any other industry where things are not unbundled and standards helping the different components to be stitched together to give a seamless experience? Nowhere. And again, they'll say, oh, commerce is different. I'm sure that some of the gray-haired people will remember a few years ago, catalog marketing was a big business, multi-billion-dollar business. Where somebody will send a paper catalog by post, and I will look at it, select the products and put it in a cover and send it back to them. They will source this from different components, nicely unbundled architecture working, with a seamless customer experience. What we are now seeing is e-commerce is a much more efficient and smart and quick way of connecting everybody together. So that is why I believe that it will proceed with the same set of efficiency that wins everywhere. And like I said, when something new is starting, there'll definitely be the teething trouble of people figuring. If I just give you the foods, food became a lot of public because there was somebody made some nice viral video. So in fact, what happened is when we started with grocery and food, in the early few months, 95% was only food. Today, if you look at, while we do about, of the total that we do, mobility has gone through the roof, which is like, as I would have said, more than 100,000 transactions a day. And from just 4 cities, out of which Bangalore forms a large chunk. When it comes to non-mobility, about 65,000, out of which about 45% is food, 20% is fashion, and groceries about 10%, and so on and so forth. So we are seeing and electronics another 10%. We are seeing broad-based participation in the food, more than 95%, about 95% of everything get delivered in an hour's time. And what we are doing is all the network participants are collectively coming together with we as an enabler to improve their performance and so on and so forth. So things are, as I said, we started with 1,000 transactions a day, which became everything together, 1,000 in a month. To September, it became 3.3 million in a month with, about 6 lakh in non-mobility. And now in October, half the month, we have already done 6 lakh. So we are happy, but yeah, I would very humbly accept that we are seeing tip of an iceberg. So we have a long way to go, miles to go before we sleep.
Feedback as a consumer. Please make ONDC more accessible, easily available, even if it means ONDC creating its own buy-side app.
The answer to that is for 2 reasons. We will not create our own buy-side app. What we have done is we have created a buy-side reference app and a sell-side reference app available in GitHub, anybody to do the business. What we are saying is at this present, we do not want to compete with our own business partners. That is a principle that we have done. And there are a number of them getting added. Like I said, started with Paytm, then PhonePe came, then Magic Pin came, now Ola has come. We have another 10, 15 of them under different stages of integration. And and there are some very nice, interesting startup like My Stores and so on and so forth, which is doing few hundred transactions a day for mostly to artisans and FPOs. So I agree, but we have all these things are there, and they will have to sort of make their presence felt. So we are helping all of them to expand. But at this stage, we are not planning to be come into a conflict of interest with our own partners. That's our current thought process.
I understand that currently ONDC becomes one part of the business who joins the network like an additional channel and not the only channel for the business. Is this correct? How does the existing business change after joining ONDC?
Oh, it is going to be very diverse for different, whether it is B2C, B2B, agriculture, and so on and so forth. They are now getting what is, in a simple sense, what's happening that everybody who is in business today now gets one more channel. Okay, so based on the kind of business, they will see how important is the channel from the selling side or even sourcing side. But so what we are going to see a significant realignment in the commerce itself. So without going specifically to the name, see some of the very large players in the, let's say in consumer goods and business and so on and so forth, now have put in a team not just to how to sort of make their products available in the network, which is what they would have done with any of the existing e-commerce entity, but to rethink how their total operations is going to be reimagined. So that's why what we have also done is we have published a very interesting document consolidation of thoughts from the expert with the help of McKinsey. It's available online, but you would also see different kind of study papers coming from different industry segment on how they anticipate this can make a significant disruption in the way that currently the business is being done. Because it's not just its product, it's credit, it's risk management, it's insurance. All of them are getting a new lease of life or a new energy infusion. All of them having their Red Bull for the evening. And then you could see its impact in the way they operate. So as a research student, I hope that you will pick up those things and bring about this thought soon.
What is the incentive for customers to move to ONDC and not directly go and buy from, say, Amazon, especially when the customer is very happy with the services provided by Flipkart or Amazon?
They will be the last one to come. The people are extremely happy. But incidentally, look at this way. While all of us in this webinar will be using e-commerce, in the total commerce, the penetration of digital commerce is 6 to 7% from the selling side, and the buying side 1 to 2%. So it means that the focus of these platforms are certain category of the society. So for them, this may be the, but what we are thinking about is enhancement of the participation. Same thing happened if you look at often featured example of UPI. 5 years ago, all of us used to be using digital transaction, and the card, the existing digital transacting players thought that, we will have a growth practically in 3 years' time, we will double. What more can you do? But when the dimensions change and when innovations was enabled in different segments, building blocks, you saw from 250 million transactions a month to 10 billion transactions a month moving, with the participation growing exponentially. So that's what we are expecting. And of course, as it stabilizes, you would see even the competitive offers coming because of the reduction in the rent-seeking capability of different players. So you saw that in the food segment, and we are seeing similar kind of things. So the customers may see certain advantage or even may see some broad convenience. For example, there could be one application today. For example, if you go to Paytm, which is a buying application for us, you would see that you can buy consumer goods and you can also order food. Soon you will see you'll be able to hail taxi there. Or if you go into the same thing, if you go to, like, for example, in Ola, you would see multiple things offering, and soon you may even see financial products there. So so consumers incentive could be more options, more comfort with more integrated product offers, same application for multiple services, and the cost advantage for those people for whom that's also a relevant thing. So that's how we believe that it could transform. It is going to be and you'll see humongous amount of innovation happening. For example, there could be, I'm just giving some, this is my favorite example, a lot of people would have heard. Like, for example, there could be one startup coming and say that, I'm going to create a buying application to non-resident Malayalis, to help them procure from their cities culturally relevant product, because they don't have to go and tie up with any of them. Those sellers are anywhere there. They have to only look at how to make the buying experience of those non-resident Malayalis with the Malayalam text and the Malayalam, script and the contextually relevant recommendations. So I'm just saying this opens up humongous innovation to come, and that is what could add a lot more values to the customer.
In ONDC, who will have the accountability in case something goes wrong, since there are many entities involved in that transaction?
Again, as I told earlier, the customer will go to the places where he bought. And that person's job is to stitch, just like he took his search to the different components to help him to buy, he has to take to the different components to get it resolved. And if it ends up being a dispute, we have also established the idea of an online dispute resolution, which is also seamlessly can now help the people to sort of resolve the disputes based on fact, because there's a complete audit trail of who came and asked for what and what was offered to him, what was the agreement that they had, what was the payment they made, when was it made, when was it delivered, what was it delivered, all those things are there. So it helps to sort of resolve a lot of them. And now when you also have a large number of smaller players coming, you would see that their desperation to establish themselves and give good quality also will higher. You ask any of the bankers around here, ask them whether they have more of, where do they have more of NPAs, the big players or the small players? You would say it is the big players who have more of, NPAs. Because for small players, that will kill their life. So that's why we are seeing, while we have, like, for example, 3.3 million transactions, definitely there had been issues, concerned, but it all got resolved. None of them has become a dispute. I'm sure there'll be a few disputes coming, but we'll have something like online ODR framework, etc., that will help to address this issue.
Can you brief us on the ONDC commission structure of the seller side and buyer side?
We don't have, as of now, ONDC charges nothing, and eventually ONDC may have some kind of very, very marginal fee from the transacting parties. Then we don't get and determine the market, the commissions of the buyer application or the seller application or logistics players. It is what we are enabling is a significant amount of competition, which will help different kind of an application to give different kinds of services. And competitive forces bring it down to discipline. And you would see even for the seller side, and there again it depends upon the product. For example, I've seen some of the seller side application coming and saying that earlier they used to have a percentage of the transaction. Some of them coming and say that I'm dealing with very small sellers, I'm only taking a subscription fee. And I've seen another one just coming and say that I'm just going to make this freely available because I'm creating it as an infrastructure, because I'm very keen to have a large cross section of, let's say, Kirana players participating actively in the traditional commerce and empowering them. So I will rather give the service as an infrastructure facility to my large supply chain, my distribution channel. So you are seeing all these things evolving. Some of them are at visible, some of them are under design stage by the different service providers.
As the open network is very easy for access from the seller's and consumer point of view, in this context, how safe is it for the open network in terms of transaction and data security?
Like I said, one is safe. We have actually, I'm sure that you will have to have a larger, deeper thought on this. We have published a whole we have published a whole paper on the risk associated with there, and you can see that. I'll just add one comment to the data security issues. One thing that is there is, there is no central database. You have realized it's a network. So each network participants have the right of access to the customers' data only. So if you are dealing with a buyer application A, your details is available only to the buyer application A, and with details with respect to your data will be available to the sellers who sold to you. It is not like somebody who has stranglehold on the total data.
What is the minimum requirement for enrolling on ONDC as a seller, and how can a newly established business start selling on ONDC? What are the incentives?
It depends upon which product. If you are an FPO, any of them are, essentially the minimum cost that you will have is to make sure your catalog is digitized. And based on which kind of product and scale of operations you have, there are different network participants. In fact, we have provided a seller's handbook in our ONDC network. You can do that. And then we have also published a complete learning infrastructure for ONDC Academy. I'm just giving the big picture. And there is also a WhatsApp bot where you can send a hi message and give you a sort of step-by-step input on how to become a seller, whether you come directly as a seller, as a network participant, or you come through an aggregator. But the point that I'm saying is, there is, if you are a person with a very, like I said, like a weaver in a small, or an artisan, to if you are on the other side, HUL, all of them have their own possibilities at their own cost that they can join. So it's not like a big cost burden on anybody.
How can I, as a freelance developer, develop an app for ONDC or integrate ONDC in their app?
Oh, everything, the whole protocol. Go to GitHub, every protocol, every documentation is lying there. Incidentally, recently, some 3 kids from BITS Pilani together developed something and showed us, and it sort of passed it was pretty good. And I told them, go and sell it to anybody who's wanting to do it and make a business of it. That's the beauty. This enables humongous amount of possibilities for innovation and specialization. Just making one thing is, every Tuesday, one of my colleagues does a detailed business briefing. If you send a mail to, let's say CEO at an ondc.org, my team will sort of forward you the detail. Every Tuesday, there's a detailed business briefing who's to help people to actually take the decision on whether they want to join or how they want to join. And then there's a technical briefing on Friday to give them the step-by-step technical clarification, because the whole documentation is there in GitHub.
Explain the scope of how government institutions can register and use this platform for procurement.
No, you can use any of the buying application and buy whatever that is available, subject to the internal policies of the government. In fact, recently, I saw that the DPIT secretary had written a letter to all secretaries in every central ministry and all chief secretaries, suggesting that they could use the ONDC gift coupon as a means of providing gift to their employees and everybody during this gift season. So that itself has been a sort of indication, a sort of guidance given by the secretary DPIT, and I am sure that based on which department that is there. So it's a question of, this is not an auctioning system. This is where, like I said, B2B and B2C. B2B has just come. So I think when you come to large scale B2B buying, I think there is a rule of, government departments using GEM. So this is not replacement of GEM. GEM will continue as a procurement platform for the government. And soon the GEM sellers also will be available in the ONDC network. That's also being planned. So, I can't give a very generalized answer. I cannot give a specific answer to you, but I can give you what are the possibilities it is shaping.
The majority of the players on board ONDC are large corporates. In light of that, are there any special incentives for MSMEs for motivating them to get on board on ONDC?
Hey, today in ONDC, if you look at the seller side, majority of them are small and micro enterprises. You would have seen the MSME minister's announcement that they are going to actually publish within a month's time the sort of schemes which will help the small enterprises to digitize and onboard, including financial support. And there are many entities like CDB and NABARD have already instituted those things. Some of the states have already instituted things. Some of the agriculture ministry, SFAC has instituted. You'll see all this diverse kind of already there, and you will see a lot more proliferation of those kind of assistance in the coming months, because all these departments and organizations have realized this is a common theme in which they can consolidate their effort to help the small and micro enterprises.
Hope you enjoyed this masterclass and thank you for watching. Don't forget to tune into our next one.